Mr. Catlin here, looking at your homework for this week, starting with lesson number 9. And we're going to be going through these lessons and working the problems out together. And I want to start with problem number 1 here, where we're solving all these equations. And I'm going to try my best to get all of these into this space here. We'll see if we can make it work, but I'm going to start with problem A. 4x equals negative 28. Something times 4 is negative 28, so showing work for this would be sufficient as I want to divide by 4 to get my answer. And when I divide negative 28 by positive 4, my x solution is negative 7, because 4 7s make 28, and it's going to be negative for the sign purposes. Alright, let's look at B. B says x take away negative 6 equals negative 2. And we actually did these problems last week in class, so if you remember them, you should be able to kind of go back and see how we worked those out. This one would look like this, and so we would subtract 6 from both sides to find out what x is equal to. 6 minus 6 is nothing, so that makes nothing. And negative 2 subtract 6 is negative 8. So that one turns out to be negative 8 as a solution. Alright, and C, negative x plus 4 is negative 9. They're adding 4, so I wanted to subtract 4 to make the plus 4 go away. And that tells me that the opposite of x, because it drops down, is equal to negative 4. Drop 4 more, I'm at negative 13. So if opposite of x is negative 13, then regular x is simply put as 13. Alright, so moving on to D. D says negative 3x plus 7 is 1. And so whenever you have these types of two-step ones, first sets are one step. We want to get x by itself, of course, but we want to get rid of any standalone things first that aren't parts of groups, like this 7. We got 3 x's and we got a 7, so let's get rid of this 7 first with take away. So we take away 7, and we do the same thing to the other side. 1 minus 7 is negative 6. And then negative 3 times something is negative 6. You can think about that mentally. You could also divide by negative 3 to see what that's going to turn up to end, or turn out to be as your x, because the negative 3's will make 1 and leave you with x by itself. And a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 3 goes into 6 twice. So that's why that's 2. And the very last one, E. We got 25x plus negative 11 equals negative 86. And to get rid of this 11, before we focus on the x, we can add 11. Opposite additive inverses. So opposites there will make 0. If we add 11 to this, that actually makes negative 75, because you're going back up towards 0. And so 25 times something equals negative 75. To find that answer, you just got to divide. And when you're dividing here, you're dividing by a negative number, so that is going to give you a negative quotient, because a negative divided by a positive comes out that way. So x gets isolated here, and we get our solution of the negative 3. So there's our answers for A, B, C, D, E on problem number 1 on your homework.